Welcome back, everyone. We have an update from Shuttle Pharmaceuticals, Inc. It trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol SHPH and is a discovery and development stage specialty pharmaceutical company focused on improving the outcomes for cancer patients treated with radiation therapy. Please welcome CEO and Chairman Anatoly Dritschilo. Nice to see you again. How are you doing today?
Good. Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful. We look forward to this update. So please, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, so we have had a number of things that have happened within the company since my last presentation here, and they basically focus around some innovative intellectual property that we've acquired. So I'd like to just bring people up to date. May I have the slides, please? All right. So the previous presentation, I gave you a summary of the various work that we're doing to develop therapeutics for Shuttle Pharmaceuticals Holdings. The basic issues that we address involve both therapeutics and diagnostics in order to get optimal care. So let me get this disclaimer. I should say everything that I say here is included in our regulatory filings with the SEC, so you should be able to get to those filings on our website. And then what I will talk about, mostly focus on, is the new things that have come along in the last month in terms of presentation. And of course, we've been working on these things for several years in the past. So again, I bring to you the fundamental problem facing radiation therapy, which is to be able to deliver a high enough dose to the cancer without damaging normal tissues. And in this case, we look at the two ways that we can do that. One is to make the cancer cells more sensitive to radiation, which is the sensitizers, and those are the therapeutics we're developing, the ropodexiuridine and some of the HDAC inhibitors. And then the other one is to protect normal tissues, which can be done by having the normal tissues outside of the area of radiation to as much a degree as possible. And the other aspect would be to identify certain patients where there are sensitivities or genetic differences, and that to apply the diagnostics that are necessary to be able to take advantage of those differences. So if we look at this, the cancer cells are surrounded by the radiation-sensitive normal tissues that are dose-limiting. There are also some within the cancer itself. And then we have adverse outcomes that we consider are both recurrence after treatment, progression of disease, and normal tissue injuries. All of these together comprise what would be the result would be the optimal treatment or a poor outcome. So there are two areas for prostate cancer, and I focus here on prostate cancer because this has been a disease that I've specialized in treatment all of my life. And the two areas involve predictive biomarkers, which are blood tests that tell us whether the patient's going to respond well or poorly to the radiation treatment. And then the diagnostics that are needed that maybe target prostate cancer cells specifically and are able to then be imaged with PET scans, or to be able to actually attach the cells and make the cancer cells targets for external radiation to a higher degree than normal tissues. And this is an example on the left here, where we have the linear accelerator, which is a treatment modality that we use, which is a high-energy X-ray machine. And then we have two examples of how we can avoid overdosing certain organs. And in this case, we have protons can be used with lateral fields, and we deliver a high dose to the prostate, or we can use multiple fields from all directions that are selected by a physician, and then we get a high dose and spare a lot of the normal tissues. The red area is the area where the dose is very high. However, as you can see, in this cross-section, we have an anatomy that includes the rectum, includes anteriorly and laterally a little bit of the bladder, and so that we have to radiate those areas also, and we'd like to protect them and basically selectively irradiate the tumors. Okay, so we have two new intellectual properties that we have identified, and what we decided to do is to license these. Both of them are tests that we have been working on. The PC-RAD test is a predictive biomarker developed for testing blood. This was funded with NIH SPIR funding and was developed, and now we're in a position to do the clinical trial for this diagnostic test. The test would be to draw blood on patients prior to treatment and then follow patients for several years after that, and then determine the outcomes based on side effects and cure rate and so forth. So we have we have an exclusive license for this from Georgetown University, and we are in the process of preparing for a clinical trial. The second area is something that is very hot right now. The PSMA is a enzyme on the surface of prostate cancer cells and on prostate normal cells, but to a higher degree on prostate cancer cells. So this molecule has been developed over the last 25 years. The original investigators worked at Georgetown and have been colleagues that I have worked with. And we basically have developed a new version of the PSMA ligand, which binds to the PSMA enzyme. And this we call it PSMA-B, and it's suitable for theranostic applications, which includes both diagnostic and therapeutic roles. We developed it to enable the placement of a molecule that is affected by proton radiation therapy, and with the intent of magnifying the radiation effect of this particular molecule. The molecule captures the proton, it then disintegrates and releases several alpha particles, which are very effective at damaging, DNA, and would be appropriate for increasing the radiation effect on prostate cancer cells. This was developed in collaboration with scientists at Georgetown, from Georgetown, and the work has been licensed exclusively to Shuttle Pharma. So these two molecules need to be developed, and we are looking for using our rights offering to fund partial development of this, and also we'll be seeking additional collaborations with other investigators. Now, for purposes of, I don't have enough time to go through the PSMA role, but it's a very hot area in prostate cancer imaging and in precision medicine. For those of you who obviously will jump to Google in the short time, you can take a look at PSMA antigen ligand and the diagnostic and therapeutic applications. There's a lot of information on this online. So these are the two areas I want to bring to your attention. And as the next 6 months go on, I'll be presenting additional information on progress in these areas. We hope to spin out Shuttle Diagnostics as a separate entity that will be partially owned by investors and partially owned, majority owned by Shuttle Pharmaceuticals Holdings Incorporated. So that's the overview, and if there are any questions, perhaps I can address them.
Great. Thank you, Anatoly. Yes, last time you were here, there was a discussion of a rights offering. Any updates you can provide for us there?
Right. So we have had, we focused for the last month or so on the paperwork for the SEC. This has been, the rights offering has been announced. We've filed SEC paperwork for it. And at the same time, we have identified the company Bausted, bankers who will be implementing this. So this should be, there should be more information coming out in the very near future. And it has been already described.
All right. Well, perfect. Thank you so much for this update. And we look forward to continuing along with your journey. Thank you so much, Anatoly.
Thank you very much.
All right, everyone. We'll be right back with our next presenter.